Hello and welcome. We are joined by a very special guest. It's me. It's me, everybody. No, on a real, we are joined by the lead developer of the Due Process Revival team. He goes by the name of Tetra. Or Joe. Let's just get into it, shall we? And if you like the video, leave a like and subscribe. That'd be pretty useful.
Hi, my name is Joe Brown. I go by Tetra, and I'm currently the lead developer on the Due Process Revival team.
Wow.
Okay. Notice you mentioned Revival there. Was there like a different team before that then?
Yeah.
Sorry, we're getting right into it, but...
Right into it.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I'm ready. So prior to us, there was a team who were straight out of university and game school and made Giant Enemy Crab and the game. They've been working on it for 10 years.
Yeah.
We were in alpha for a long time, launched on Steam into early access around 2020, and had a sort of 1,600 players. And then it slowly dwindled and was at sort of 100 and then dwindled to about 20 concurrent a day and then dwindled to about 1 or 2 concurrent a day. And I was a community manager for the game for a bit. And so when the game died, we had a sort of community sort of tens server where we would play the game every so often. I reached out to the old game designer, Alexander Bard, and said, hey, can we do an update? And he was up for it. So Jet, Simba, Voxel, and myself, we all worked together on doing this Futureman update, and we pushed it out.
Yeah, it was a bit random, wasn't it? Because it was a while since it sort of did dwindle out, and then it just felt very like, oh, okay, here's an update. So that was yourself that just sort of prompted, like, can we just do an update?
Yeah. Well, it was going to be. It started off as just maps. I used to do map making for the game as well, and so it was just going to be some maps, and then that sort of snowballed into a full-on update. And then we had a sale, and then we had all of this backing it, and so it's snowballed very fast.
Yeah, it's been quite the comeback, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely say that. I mean, we've just seen it like just shoot up ever since you've announced like your update, and it was just been met with massive reception.
It's been mega.
How I found out about it was, so I made a video on Due Process. It wasn't until recently it started getting like comments in like, oh, it's coming back. I'm like, what? Yeah, we jumped right back into it, didn't we, Sheldon?
Yeah, it was just, I remember because I've been following the game personally since like 2014. I actually heard of the game through a channel called Node that was run by the Corridor Digital guys. And then I tried to convince Ronov here or Ben to try and play the game whenever we could, because this was when the player base was still somewhat active, but it was starting to dwindling down essentially. So I wanted to try and get more people involved with the game. We knew there was just like lightning in a bottle for us. It was just such a unique game to play.
Yeah, it definitely comes across that to a lot of people. It's a unique experience. For sure.
Yeah, definitely. How did you like get involved with Due Process? So you mentioned the developers, just came out of uni. Was you part of that group of people, or did you sort of join further along?
Yeah. So the original game company was based in Seattle.
Right.
I was a player at some point, and I got into the game via General Sam's video. I bought it, and to be honest, I then refunded it. I then bought it again. I then refunded it again, and then finally it stuck with me after that. After that second refunding, I thought this is a good game.
Steam just said, no, you can't refund this anymore.
Yeah, Steam were getting a bit upset with me.
Yeah, they were like, you need to give it a chance.
Like, at least play it for a good hour, and then we'll give you your money back. But I bought the game, played it, and I got hooked like almost instantaneously. Swapped to it being like my main game. Started making content on it. Not very good content, but content. I then was seen by Alexander Bard, the game director, and the community manager at the time, TH Pion, and picked up as to be a sort of social media content creator person for the company as a volunteer. The player base slowly left, and a lot of the other voluntary community managers left and devs left. And so it kind of turned into being one of 4 community managers, sort of being the community manager.
Yeah. Was there any reason for people to start leaving, like personal things, or was there any particular reason behind that?
There's definitely some like a lot of the devs, they've gone on to work on like 505 games, but I feel like once you see a game that has sort of 100 concurrent players, doesn't need 12 odd people working on the game. So I think that people were sort of migrating to other games as they saw that it was a dying game.
So what's your like background in game development? Because obviously you mentioned that you started as like the sort of content creator, social media sort of guy. And yeah, you mentioned you started to make maps. Did you make the maps or like just do the sort of designs or like prompt the idea to them?
So when I talk about making a map, we have obviously procedurally assisted map making. So we use an in-editor thing that generates like the layout. And as a map maker, we basically place the doors and the bomb to make it a somewhat playable experience. Before that, literally no background in game development. Like I made some CS maps before, that was it. And it was kind of a big leap from going from nothing to like an indie company.
Yeah, that's a good jump though, a good leap, as you say. Like, again, you must have had some sort of joy making maps and whatnot.
Oh, definitely. It's pretty awesome seeing specifically maps like being played by players. The fun thing about G-Process is that the maps in the game are sort of meant to be broken because they're only in there for like a month. Seeing people find just the wackiest spots on maps really sort of one makes me think, dear God, and also that's quite cool.
I've had no complaints with any of the maps so far. Like there's stuff you can get away with that obviously you wouldn't be able to get away with in most games. Like I was able to kill someone through like the crack of a door. And someone pointed that out in one of the comments. They said that was vile. Like if I died to that.
I'm glad you're getting called out for that. I'm glad everyone's hating on
I felt like a rat, but it was satisfying. Did any of you make maps in Halo?
Well, I didn't. No,
because I made very simple maps because I got Halo Reach, and that's when I started to kind of experiment a little bit. But I never got like properly into map making. I only just messed around with like, I think with a couple of objects, tried to create like race courses, for example.
But yeah, what's like one of the most exciting parts of being part of G-Process?
It's definitely seeing like the different going into like a casual match and seeing both ends of the spectrum of skill wise, enjoying the game and figuring out different strategies. So like casual players will go in, literally have no idea what they're doing, but will say, man, this is so much fun. I love this. And then we have our like pro scene, which will utterly obliterate any sort of map that I make and will find every single flaw with it. And there's definitely a big spectrum of what goes down.
Yeah, that must be interesting to see like a map you think is like bulletproof basically, but then like the most random thing can come out of it. Do you get that a lot?
People in the weirdest spots. Every map I make, I go, oh, there's no way they can do that. There's no way they can make that jump. I'll remove these boxes so the jump's not possible, and then they find some workaround.
I guess it's you I've got at then. Like on that warehouse map, there was a clip where I jumped on these bins. I tried to get on the roof of the entire warehouse just so I could snipe down below. Why are you not letting me do this?
Because that was the thing. Ages ago, that was something that happened. It absolutely broke every single factory that was ever made.
Oh god.
So we created some sort of prevention from that.
Yeah. Instantly running out of that SWAT van, I was like, I'll jump in these bins, I'll get on the roof, I'm just gonna beat Overwatch. And then I was like, oh, damn it. But then I was sort of thinking that would be mental. Just have visibility of everyone.
Pretty busted.
Yeah.
I just noticed him doing that. I was thinking, I'll just leave him to do whatever. I'm going to focus on the objective.
I tried crouch jumping. Yeah.
It's like, Ben, you all right? He goes, no, I can't get there.
I think that was the map actually. You joined my stream and you said you were one of the devs, part of the team. I completely thought you was lying, and I was like, oh, that's cool. No, I had some belief. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. You didn't say anything after, and I was like, yeah, he definitely lied.
Yeah, sorry, I've been quite busy over the last couple of weeks.
No, understandably, yeah.
How dare you just assume he's not anything like that?
How dare you stop chatting in my stream? No, that's fair enough. Yeah, I can imagine you've been. I mean, it's been hectic. You mentioned that you worked on G-Process in the week, and you also done something else on the weekend. Is that just another little sort of part-time job?
Yeah, do a part-time job at the weekends, which sucks because I'd really like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday just to push out maps and do map stuff. So I recently put in my 4 weeks of notice so I could do that.
Oh, wow.
So I'm really dedicated to the G-Process grind.
Yeah, no, fair
Oh,
enough. Yeah, that must have been stressful though. Obviously, doing one thing throughout the week, which is, I guess, even though you enjoy it, is a job.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, on the weekend doing a job as well. Yeah, Sheldon, did you have any questions?
I actually do have a few questions. It's more around like sort of the future of the game at the moment, because obviously, like once the game went for like I think it was like 71p here,
Yeah.
when it went on a massive discount, the player base shot up, and also obviously people got to realize how good of the game it was. Because, like I said, I've been preaching it to Ronov. I've been preaching it to everyone that's close to me. I've been telling them, please, please try this game. But what does it feel like just seeing like the rise of players more recently? Because I think now you've broken about 2,000 players.
Yeah.
Player count.
It's been crazy. We made the update being like, if we get like 100 concurrent, we will be happy. Like that'd be great. And then that number started to go up and up and up, and then we beat the all-time record of players like twice in 2 days, which was crazy.
Wow.
We hit like 2.1k, which was never ever to be like seen, which was crazy. So it's been a mental couple of specifically during that sale bit, crazy.
Yeah.
I was just refreshing the Steam page and the player count just constantly going, come on, more players.
To be fair, as soon as I noticed it was on sale, I was like, please get more people looking at this game. And then we started to just record some stuff. Obviously, Ronov's done his video's done extremely well, like showcasing the game, and I think the beauty of the game for it. And like the many features, I have a few features that I would like to ask if they're coming in. But before I do, is there like any like big features that you are planning that we can maybe get a tease of that are coming down the line, or is it all on a hush hush at the moment?
So every year we've done like an April Fool's Day thing, and so usually that is maps and funny maps and just for a day. But we're going to do something else that's pretty big, I'd say. That as someone who has watched the game for 14 years, you will appreciate yourself.
Okay.
So it's going to be quite cool. Other than that, major features are we're sort of still figuring out more sort of minor. Well, not. I'd say they're pretty major. We're looking at implementing overtime.
Oh yes.
To ranked and sort of making ranked a bit better. So we're looking at reducing the queue times, hopefully, for people on higher elo.
Okay.
But stuff like that. We're working on a lot of minor changes that will come in weekly updates, and then hopefully we'll do overtime might be a major update thing. We want to do a revamped tutorial, bunch of stuff to help out the new players.
Yeah, I think that would be really good to have the onboarding process be a lot more straightforward. I think one feature that I would ironically like, because I come from playing Rainbow Six Siege and I love leaning a lot.
Yeah.
Would that and this is just more of a personal question for me, would you ever implement something like leaning into the game at some point, or is that something that's not a main focus?
I don't think it'll be a focus, just because then we have to we like the old team, their view was to have ambidextrous aiming rather than leaning.
Okay.
But I think if we were to do leaning, it would mean that we'd then have to basically rework all of the cover to help with leaning and like to prevent leaning and stuff like that.
That'd be a big thing, because I guess it's just a whole new sort of mechanic as well.
Yeah. Something I like, but there's more to it that actually makes sense. That's fair enough.
I will also say as well, with the leaning, I've found myself in the game spamming Q&E.
You're very good at placing down pings then.
Yeah, no, there are times where I'm pinging and I'm like, guys, just ignore that. Ping.
Oh yeah, I've noticed. I was like, mate, what are you pinging for? He's like, yeah, that's the wrong key. Sorry, ignore it. I was like, okay, fair enough. No, that's cool actually. I would like to see an overtime be added, because I feel like there are definitely moments where the game could like decide a winner, for example. Another question that I have that's a little bit off the cuff about the process, because you mentioned that there's a pro scene that's currently still taking place within the game. What is your priority when it comes to, like, say, balancing? Is it taking away what the community as a whole does, or what the pro scene does, or do you try to merge the two together?
We try and do a bit of both. So, for instance, for the Futureman update, before the Futureman update, we had Weapon Sway, which absolutely killed any sort of like precision gunplay you would ever want, because you'd like walk up and down and your head would bob and the aim would go everywhere. And so that was a frustration from a lot of players. And so we take into account all the feedback and we sort of figure out, where do we want things to be. So the Dawn, for example, the new gun that we added, the LMG.
Yeah, that gun.
Yes.
Is that the
we didn't
That's the big
defending.
old LMG. Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
Defender's
Defender
LMG. That's
LMG.
like
Yeah.
70 rounds, and you could just. It's just. Nah,
Yeah.
it's a brutal gun.
It is, but it's we didn't want it to. Our view on it was we'd rather have a game and push an update that has a weak gun that nobody really uses than an overpowered gun that everyone uses and it just becomes the round winner. So we kind of made the Dawn a little bit weak. So every sort of week we've been buffing it a bit just to figure out where the nice line is.
Yeah.
And so we've been taking feedback from both casual players and the competitive players. And so I think this week coming, we should have the Dawn in a nice spot where it can, take on 1v1s rather than just be the wallbang gun.
It must be hard, like, as a dev to tweak things to being balanced. Like, obviously this goes throughout all sorts of games. But yeah, as a dev, tweaking these little sort of guns and mechanics, as you said, with swaying and whatnot, it must be hard because obviously you're going to get comments of people saying, "Oh, this is broken. This is like rubbish." But then sometimes they are just chatting rubbish themselves. Sometimes there is actually a gun that is good, but maybe they're just not as good
Using
with
it
it.
correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must be hard to try and filter feedback like that.
Yeah, there definitely is an aspect to it of people will like, for some reason, randomly, with the new player influx, there were so many people saying that shotguns were bad when they are like one of the best guns in the game. They can absolutely take down 5 attackers by itself.
Don't look at me.
You want to know the funny thing? Is literally he said that in the video.
Don't look at me.
The next thing I did, I used a shotgun. I was like, what is he on about?
They're like, really good.
They're so good.
I got a few comments about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got to barrel stuff. That's the only thing. I think a lot of people expect them to be like Tarkov shotguns, which like deal like headshot damage from 70 meters away.
Even Siege is can be a bit crazy with shotguns. You can, they can be very long range. Oh god, yeah.
Shotguns in this game are actually really good for what they are. You have to be really up close, but they're actually really good in that situation.
Yeah,
I feel like they're actually pretty well balanced so far. But then again, my favorite weapons has always been the sort of assault rifles, the AKs sort of thing. And I'm still experimenting, like for example, with on the attacker side, utilizing the shotgun for more not just like assault, but also like to breach through and go from that direction onwards. Which the shotguns are more versatile than I think some people give it credit for.
Yeah, they are. They're very versatile. Yeah, like you were saying, especially the attack shotgun that can just like open doors permanently. Like that's such a big thing for attackers. But so we took a lot of that. Well, we didn't take all of that feedback, but there are definitely voices in the community that say guns need buffing and guns need nerfing. But when we do buffs, we look at the TTK and the stats of it all. Go from there, and then if changing the stats to align it more with what everything else is, means that there's something else wrong with the gun. So it could be the recoil, or it could be not having a laser or stuff like that. Like there's different aspects to balancing and nerfing a weapon that we go through.
What's been like the biggest challenge now, since you've got a big player base, of retaining that player base and trying to grow that audience further?
It's definitely been it's been a mix of things. We really want to do advertising, which has been a challenge for ages for the game. And we've finally got some money that we can use from the sale to do advertising and do.
Okay.
But another thing is just not getting burnt out as a development team.
Yeah.
We've got myself and Jet, who's one of the developers. We've sort of been burnt out for the last sort of week. It's been just trying to get in that rhythm and trying to figure out ways of working on the game, because we're all volunteers. So working on the game for free, and then figuring out what we can do in our free time to not get burnt out. So that, like, I'll be honest, after working on the game, I've pretty much not touched due process.
Oh wow!
Not working on the game. I've just played other games just to
take a break.
Take a break.
Because it's got to be so exhausting trying to work on a game, and then you got to play test it. You don't get the time to just sit down because your mind's focused on just working on the game instead of enjoying the game that you've created, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's definitely switched to that as of recent.
I've always thought about that. Like, do devs play their own games? But it is just like they must sort of have that break from it. It's like artists. Do they listen to their own music? Surely not.
Probably some self-centered ones, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
The majority of questions I've got so far.
Yeah. Okay. I was just going to say, that burnout. I think a lot of people do struggle with it. It is it's annoying because obviously you want to pour everything into something you actually want to do, but then the more you do that, it's like the more burnt out you get, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't want to have these breaks, but yeah, you need them. You definitely need them.
It's an awful cycle.
Yeah, I've got some community questions actually.
Great. Wonderful.
And one of them you did actually answer before. It was to do with leaning. They asked when leans, but yeah, again you said that would be quite a big thing. So
Yeah.
not a focus just yet. Suppressors? Question mark?
Ooh.
So we have looked at suppressors because they used to be in the game. We used to have oil can and universal suppressors. So oil cans were for defenders. They could put them on guns, and then the universals were for attackers. And you could steal suppressors, so you could steal it and like put it on a knack. That was quite a fun thing.
I do like that you can steal equipment.
It is. It's quite fun. Since then, though, because no one on the old team really worked on suppressors, they to compensate for that, they added the Gruber SD and they gave the Black Tar a suppressor.
Oh yeah.
So they have internal suppressors already, and so we've been talking about suppressors and what if we want to go forwards with suppressors, how do we do it? Because it's that thought of what do we do with those two weapons? Obviously, we can take the suppressor of the Black Tar.
Yeah.
But the Gruber SD, like, do we just delete it? What happens then? Like,
do you think it'd be a case where you could have like an option for each gun if you could have like maybe a separate table in the setup room where you can choose to have a suppressor? You know, advantages and disadvantages. Like there shouldn't be a scenario where you would just take a suppressor every time.
Regardless, I feel like there might be a damage fall off that's greater or something like that. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas here.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about. Because we want to bring back some of the old things that might have been lost over the years of development. But it's just figuring out how to deal with it more than anything.
Yeah, I guess it's, again, balancing is quite a big thing with all that. And bringing anything new, it's just always a worry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are we going to ever see better optimization? Now, personally, it's not run
optimized.
Yeah, I've not had any issues. Have you had any like feedback about it running?
It's very CPU bound. So if you have a beefy CPU, you'll be fine. Slorg's made a video on us. He was very nice with our review and said that he's not seen any performance issues, which was quite crazy, or server issues.
Yeah.
But we do realize that our game is, quite poorly optimized. To do a big optimization, there's a lot of debt, like coding debt. So there's a lot of just useless stuff right now in the project that isn't getting used, that's probably taking up some sort of optimization.
So just going back, making sure the code's up to snuff with what you really need. And
cleaning it up. Yeah, a little spring cleaning.
For the feature update, when Jet and Simba were doing any sort of code, they would delete a lot of the unused stuff. So it would be that you'd see, it wouldn't be anything dramatic, but you might shave like 0.1 of an FPS off or whatever.
Yeah.
But we'd need to go over with like an actual performance engineer and figure out what's going on and how to figure it out. So we're going to try our best to sort of scrape bits off here and there, but it might be that performance might take a long time to be improved.
Just get a new CPU, basically.
Yeah. But
just get a good CPU.
I mean, the performance is good. Even when it's like connecting, for example, we accidentally connected to an NA server. And even then, the response for that was actually a lot better than I expected. I thought there was going to be a lot of ping-related issues, but
you told me it was in an American server.
Yeah, I know, because I had the ping on it, and I was like, yeah, we are. And I was like, even I didn't feel much of a difference, I was a bit shocked because
I noticed it after you said, but
it's weird.
It's very well designed, to be fair.
Yeah,
considering we were on NA servers by accident and yet we would still be fine. So I was like, you know what? More props to the guys.
For our servers, it's once you hit 220 ping, it starts to then do the normal like lagging thing.
Okay.
Up until that number, you'll pretty much only see hit reg issues.
Yeah, okay.
On that, one of the questions actually was, what kind of timeline are we looking at for servers reopening?
We're going to try our best to open them ASAP. We can't open the floodgates all at once. The problem with that being is that if we open them all up, the matchmaker will, because there won't be as many people on like US servers or EU servers.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Wait times,
the matchmaker, but there'll be lower quality games.
Right.
So you'll have more higher matchmaking against lower match people.
High elo against low elo. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to say, like, we've had a decent experience with matchmaking so far. Like, we've destroyed people, but we've also been destroyed. So it's kind of balanced, and it's also kind of like, we're not that good, so I kind of expect to lose a fair bit anyway. So
we're still trying to learn the game ourselves and understand like what's the main things that we can take advantage of.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn.
This guy asked this question 3 times, so I guess he really wants it answered. It was the old mode videos show wall chargers being able to open substantially more exterior walls. This was removed in the final release, and now it had the wall charge feels much more useless most of the time.
Oh, I know what he means by that.
I would like to ask why.
I know what he means by that.
So I guess you could breach outside walls.
Yeah, you used to be able to breach outside walls. It was in the Block Dude build that the Node guys used to do videos on.
Yeah, because they could just breach from mostly.
You could just breach everywhere.
Yeah.
And then it was also present in Alpha. So for things like Shed, rather than it being a red door, all of those like walls that touch the shed would be breachable. There'd be exterior breachable walls.
Okay.
I believe the reason why it was removed was just consistency reasons, just to make it so there's not another layer of like, oh, this is an exterior wall that's breachable compared to just every exterior wall isn't breachable.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense balancing wise, because if you have everywhere that's just breachable, then there's again you don't know pathways to some degree, and you can't work around it, and it can become, I think, in a way, a little bit unfair. It's creative, don't get me wrong, but it can just promote more problems down the line.
I find with attackers as well, like I've already got quite a lot of freedom when attacking. Like I enjoy attacking a lot more than defending. So I guess if you was able to breach any bloody wall, like it'd be a bit mental. I guess with Siege as well, you've got specific outside walls that you can breach.
Yep.
So it's very limited. Do you think you'd have anything like that? You'd have a limited amount of walls that maybe you could counter with something?
Maybe, but again, it's the same thing of then we need a tutorial to explain that to someone before.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right now we're just we're going off of the awful tutorial that's already there, and we don't really want to. Yeah, exactly.
It's basically nothing. You just walk around and you just go through point A to point B. I know what I'm doing, but for a lot of people, it can be a bit like a head scratcher.
Yeah. So at least until we've got a tutorial that explains everything to people, I think adding another level of nuance isn't the way to go forward.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, don't make it too complex, I guess.
Yeah.
Let people get involved first.
Yeah.
That is a very long question. I'll read that in a second.
Can't wait for that one.
Yeah. Will they add lobsters?
Sure, yeah, fuck it.
There we are.
Moth
Daddy 1. They will add lobsters. Do you have one question to ask quickly, Sean, just whilst I read through this paragraph?
Map wise, would you ever do one like say around a beach area, like you deploy off from like the sea and then you work up the beach into the building? Would you ever do like a map layout that revolves around that, or is that not something that would probably be a bit too complex?
D-Day.
I mean, like Dome.
Like Dome, but put a sea in front of us.
Now that we've like made some sort of money from the sale, and we can then split it into servers, advertising, commissions. So we could potentially have like the idea of a new tile set. At least definitely in conversation. It doesn't mean that it will happen, but there's been talks of it. And I think if we were to do a tile set, I've been sort of brainstorming, like as an ideal, what would be the best tile set that I'd like to do. And I think a casino would be badass.
Oh, that would be good.
That would be so good. I would love to play a casino.
I was going to say, would you ever open it up to the community? Maybe give them like a few options and see what like stands out.
We could always, We could always.
I would love to see what the community could create. Actually, another question I want to ask is, would there be? It's a bit too early to say, but would you eventually like to see if you can get into a console release at some point?
It's definitely something that obviously would boost our like player numbers, instantly. But it's a bit of an undertaking, so we will look at it probably at some point. But it's just figuring out because I recently purchased. I'm going to flex here. I recently purchased a Steam Deck just to play due process on, pretty much.
Oh
wow! Okay, fair enough.
And the amount of controls that we have in the game, like I just playing on the Steam Deck, I realized how many controls we have.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you need to map somehow. So we'd have to figure out how to like simplify the mapping system for controller.
Can't you just
I think
copy
the Steam-
Siege?
But I think the Steam Deck's actually a really good idea to bridge where you want to go if you was to do console, because again, it's just such. I've wanted to get a Steam Deck for a while.
It's really good.
It's
They're really good.
I want to get the OLED version because I want those
yeah.
colors to pop.
It's lovely.
But yeah, what's this question that we're now bigging up so
Yeah,
much? That's
so-
long.
It is actually a good question. Right. Are you sitting comfortably?
Oh, very much so. Please. Bring it
Aside
on.
from the sudden urge of players to worry about, will you revisit the progression system? I feel like the current system copies battle passes from other games, which I often use to try and squeeze out every drop of playtime from users from an already successful franchise. Are you following me here? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Its current status doesn't fit properly with an indie studio of this caliber. I don't blame them for copying it. It's just very out of place and it turns off players, me as well. Wouldn't this be a good place to engage players who aren't into a full completion of unlock systems, but willing to grind into a good, I guess, 30% of it?
Okay. Okay. That's an interesting.
Yeah. The Battle Pass system. I realized this when doing the marketing for it. The word Battle Pass is very tainted.
Yeah.
Sadly, it is.
When we were talking about, we're doing a Battle Pass, everyone was like, how much is it going to be? And we went, it's free. It's always been free.
Yeah.
So I can't remember if I think we just called it a free Battle Pass and didn't change the name of it. But we'd like to, at some point, figure out how to do Steam achievements and how to, and figure out like a way of doing sort of a COD style, get, 20,000 kills with the tub.
Yeah.
Use a skin for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be good.
Along with that, we're going to do double XP weekends in the future.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah.
So
That'd be good.
if you have a 9 to 5 and you hop on for the weekend and you can't grind, there's some double XP for you.
That'd be very nice. Yeah.
That'd be really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a nice surprise, like with Battle Passes, like you said, it is kind of tainted. But yeah, I've noticed on Due Process it was a nice free one. They don't expire either, do they? Or do
No, they don't.
Honest
like
to
that.
God, this has actually been one of the best experiences when it comes to like a Battle Pass progression. Because I came into the idea thinking, okay, so I've got to spend some extra money, which is fine because I like this game a lot. But when I found it's free, I was like, what?
Free?
You're giving this for free? All right, I'll do it.
70p.
70p. I'll take
5 Battle Passes.
Yeah.
Wow. Honestly, it's the amount of customization as well. I would love to see more of where you go with the art direction because at the moment, for the defenders, really cool. I really like the designs for what we're going so far. I would like to see more personally for the attackers. But that's my personal preference, really.
No, that's something we want to look at as well. And it's sort of the same vein as the tile set. It's like we have the cash. It's just it's coming up in conversation like, we could do an attacker pass now if we wanted to. But it's figuring that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before anything.
Would you introduce any sort of obviously this is a tainted word as well, but microtransactions?
A very tainted word.
Yeah.
Very tainted, yes.
Not like I mean you could do it in typical way if you buy credits and whatnot, but what about in a different way, I guess, where you can buy like a set of cosmetics, uniforms, whatever, or a special sort of battle pass?
Yeah. Microtransactions, we're looking at sort of staying away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because we're a paid game. It's kind of like the I don't know if you've played Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. I've played it. Yeah.
That game sucks for its monetary system.
I do agree.
Like 12 quid to play the game, and then like 6 quid for every killer and survivor. No, thank you.
That's crazy.
I actually respect that.
So if we were to do any sort of microtransactions in the future, like we're looking at obviously we're currently revisiting our pro league and bringing it back to life. And so we're going to try and do it in a really professional way and make it sort of like we want it to be, if someone were to like search up Due Process, see a really good competitive league that they can join, really professional streams, stuff like that. Hopefully get some sponsors for it, but stuff like that. And then if we were to do microtransactions, we would. Obviously nothing's final. I feel like doing a doing a Dota 2 Valve style thing where you
Okay.
can buy like team packs for like a major
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. I know
And
what
then
you
all
mean.
that money goes to the prize pool. I think that would be a good way of.
That would be such a good way because Siege kind of does that as well. It's
Mhm.
it's something that's actually a successful model because it's a money that helps towards the growth of the game, but it's
Yeah.
it's not in an egregious way.
Exactly.
I think that's a really good idea that you understand that at the end of the day you are a paid game. You know that you're looking to try and get the player base the majority, if not all, the content that they have at their
Mhm.
fingertips. It's about raising the monetary value through other means, which is absolutely fine, and people will happily support that. And I think that's
Yes.
Definitely,
something
yeah.
that's something that I think should not go unmissed. That's a really, really good strategy, in my
Mm.
opinion.
I will
Yeah,
say
we,
as well to go on.
Oh, well, as in, I was just going to say that we recently released our supporter pack,
Yes,
which
I have seen
is
that.
$12.99, I believe.
Yep.
Maybe that's USD price, but that comes with a few skins. But that's more of
Want
a
to support?
yeah. If you
Yeah,
want to
like
support
a
the game,
Patreon
give
sort of
us
thing, yeah.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Makes sense.
It's our way of doing a sort of a paid thing rather than gold.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say, you've got a lot of support from the community.
You have.
I've seen it in the videos as well. There's just a lot of love for the game and for you guys as well. It's a passionate community, I
We
found.
just want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
I'm saying this as a fan of the game, personally.
Thank you
I
very
just
much.
want to. I seriously mean it. We've seen a lot of games come in, do okay, or we have so much potential, but this game is genuinely special. I do want to see this game succeed. So, if there's anything that we as the community can do to try and continue that support, we would be more than happy to do it.
Perfect.
Even, just you talking about microtransactions, it's a good sign.
Very good sign.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I've got some quick fire questions.
Great.
Quick fire questions?
Quick fire
Quick fire
question.
question.
Oh my
just
God.
just got to answer them as quick as you can. All right. So,
Okay.
favorite game outside due process.
Portal.
Oh, that's a good
Ooh,
answer.
you like
I like that one. What's your favorite tile set?
A dome.
Feature you would like to add to the game at some point, just off the cuff.
Decoy grenades.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
That would be good. And my final quick fire question. You can take your time with this. Do you have any final words that you would like to say to the community?
Thank you very much for playing. The game as of recent has been great. It's been wonderful to see all the players. We appreciate all your support. You've been wonderful. I've loved seeing all the fan art, all the flex tapes, all the fails. And I just hope that we can live up to the hype and give you a game that you like and enjoy.
Oh, brilliant.
Love that. That's beautiful.
Well, yeah, thank you very much for joining us. I forgot to say that at the start. We just kind of jumped right into it, didn't we? But yeah, no, honestly, thanks for joining us today. And I think, yeah, even just having this chat as well, it shows that you got some love for this game. You want to put in the passion into it.
We love it.
Okay, well, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the video. Like and subscribe.
And please, for the love of Christ, check this game out. I will not. I will do whatever I need to say or do. Please play this game whenever you get the chance. Sorry, seriously.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Now.